Mamas. I'm Alana, and I'm here today to show you some important landmarks on the pelvis that are going to help you understand what's going on in labor a little bit. And after we look at those landmarks, then we're going to take a look. I'm going to give you a couple tips on things you can do to your pelvis to make your labor go a little quicker and a little easier. So who doesn't want that? So first of all, I have a model here of the pelvis. And the first thing that probably grabs your attention right here, are these. They look like wings. This is the ilium, both sides. Okay, and the part that looks like a wing is called the iliac crest. This is your pelvic brim. It's what people mostly think of when they think of their hips. At the bottom of that, you can see here that we have the ischium. The bottom of the iliac is called the ischium. And right here, this little groove, that's where your leg bone connects. Your femur goes right in there. Okay. Now, in the back, we have this big piece of bone right here called the sacrum. And if you can tell, it's concave. There's like a hollow in there. And at the very tip of it is the tailbone, which is the coccyx. Okay. Then in the front, we have both sides of the ilium coming together to join at the pubic symphysis. This is actually cartilage right here that joins both sides. And then inside, connected to the ischium, are these little prominent spines here. They're called the ischial spines. These are very important landmarks for the nurse or doctor or midwife to be able to tell how close your baby is to being born, how far down the birth canal they are. So those are the important basic landmarks of the pelvis. Now, some important things to know about this. It looks pretty solid, like it's not going to move. But the beautiful thing about the way God designed our pelvises is that they are flexible. They do move. Okay, the sacrum moves. Well, maybe not that much. The ilium move. Okay, the coccyx moves. And just a little bit, but just enough to make labor go a little easier, a little faster. Sometimes that'll happen because of the pressure that the baby's head is putting on your pelvis. But there are things that you can do to also help it to move. So here we have, I'm going to show you what this, why this is important. Here we have a baby. And as you can see, the opening at the top of the pelvis is oval. It's not a circle. It's a sideways oval. Okay, so it's wider there than it is this way. Sideways, there's more space this way. Now, the baby's head is also more of an oval shape, not a perfect sphere. So the baby's head is usually going to go into the pelvis in the same direction sideways where there's more space. Okay? And as the baby goes in, now you'll see here the shoulders are going to need more space, right? So the baby is going to turn until he faces the mother's sacrum, that backbone. Okay? And then he is going to descend more through the pelvis so that the shoulders are now aligned going the direction that has the most space. Now, but the bottom of the pelvis actually has more space from front to back. So now the baby, once the baby's head is through there, he's going to turn again so that his shoulders can get through the space that has the direction that has the most space. Okay? Now, like I said, the baby's head can push some of these things, like the baby's head can push the coccyx out of the way a little bit. But you can also be a part of making this happen. You don't just have to wait for the baby's head to do it. So here's what you can do. When you're in labor, we want, since the baby's head is coming here first, right? We need as much space there as we possibly can. So what we want to do is we want to move the sacrum just a little bit out of the way. So what you can do is put your hand, or not you, but someone else can come over, maybe the midwife or your husband. This is a great thing for partners to do in labor to support you. It's so easy and it's so helpful. Just put their hand on the lower sacrum and push. You could be standing leaning against a wall. You could be on all fours on the bed. You could be lying on your side. Whatever, just as long as they can reach this and push hard on it. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the sacrum just enough to add a little bit more space for the baby to come through. Now you want to be careful that they push on the lower sacrum at the beginning of birth, because what will happen is if they push at the top, what's going to happen, you're closing that space. You're not opening it, you're closing it. You're going to make it harder for the baby to get through. Now they have to get through, they have a harder time getting past that sacrum. So if the baby hasn't engaged deep in the pelvis yet, the baby's still up here, you want to make sure you're pushing low on the sacrum, or low down on the sacrum, so that the sacrum can open. Now, but what about if the baby has already gotten past this point and is now down in the lower regions? Okay, now we have the coccyx in the way. So how are we going to move the coccyx? Simple. Now your partner or whoever is just going to push on the upper part of the sacrum. Okay, so now when you push on the upper part of the sacrum, you can see that coccyx disappearing a little bit. Okay, now again, this might not be as much as it's going to move during labor, but it gives you an idea of what happens. So that's going to open up more space for the baby to get through. Another way you can open up more space for the baby to get through is by having two helpers, one on either side of you, pushing on the iliac crests. So if you have one person here and another person here, and they're both pushing, do you see what's happening? You see what's happening? Those ischial spines are moving out of the way. So again, this is for when you're lower down. This is going to close your first opening, but it's going to open the bottom opening. Okay, so down here by the ischial spines, they're getting out of the way, and that is what we want when the baby's that low. So those are just a couple of things that you can do, understanding how the pelvis is designed, how the baby's moving through, and how the pelvis moves. Another beautiful thing about movement during birth is that your body is releasing a hormone called relaxin, which basically does what it sounds like. It relaxes the joints in your body, including this cartilage right here, pubic symphysis. So that cartilage is going to squeeze. It will get skinnier, it will get fatter in different parts depending on how the pelvis is moving. It will allow the bones to open up a little bit more. So these are just some beautiful ways that God has designed our pelvis, and I hope that it helps you in your labor, that you can use some of those tips. Great. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.